Fear is a funny thing because we don't tend to think about it until it forces us to. I've had to confront a lot of my own over the last year, and something I've found is that we have fears that we don't even realize. Reflecting on this, for me personally, I found it was because I'd crafted my life to be as safe as possible. I don't mean physically safe, of course, we all want that, but mentally, emotionally, situationally, that kind of safety. And I think that's human nature, and I would bet that's a lot of you in a similar situation if you really thought about it. And I think it's important to remember that life itself is a risk, and without risk, there is no growth. But in my quest for true freedom and resetting everything I had known and built for myself, I slowly came to realize that until I identified and began to confront these hidden fears, that I would never achieve what I was after. The reset itself was a big one. What will we do? What if it doesn't work out? What if I fail? What if? I finally just had to stop myself, focus on my core values, the ones I know define me as a person, and defeat those other feelings. And it's absolutely an internal war when you do. Your self-preservation kicks in, tells you that you have everything you need here, you know? Don't screw this up for some ideal version of life that you don't even know is possible. But I was looking at my life through a distorted lens, one that society teaches us is acceptable ways of doing things. My finances were in shambles because I was an overzealous consumer. I would work 9 to 5 as an end goal because that's what the world teaches is the best way to achieve work-life balance, right? But then you get a salary and 9 to 5 becomes 9 to 6, and then 8 to 6. Then one day you wake up, you're doing 12-hour days for 3 or 4 days out of the week because you feel like you have to. And for what? Certainly wasn't for me, although at the time I thought it was. You start to lose yourself because you no longer have the time to focus on yourself. You're so caught up in the day-to-day that becomes who you are. You bury your fears because it's easier than figuring out why they're there in the first place. We compare ourselves to friends, to coworkers, to our parents when they were our age. And those comparisons slowly start to kill us. It kills our growth, our drive, our passions, our morals, our creative spirit, everything. And then we start to decline without even realizing it. Because surely you can afford just $15 more a month on that next subscription service, right? Because without this one extra thing, we aren't validated in our own eyes. Change that perspective. Identify your fears, defeat them. Be who you were meant to be without all the baggage. And don't do that because you need to prove to somebody that you've made it. Do it in spite of them. Do it because it's what you need to do. Just as an example, I make these videos for myself. Don't get me wrong, I love that you're watching them and that I'm helping some of you with them. But I make them first and foremost because they're things that I need to get out of my head and hear for myself, from myself. And sure, I could just journal or something, but putting them out into the world adds an extra sense of something, finality, reality, determination to keep going and actually see it through. These videos are reminding me of who I really am and what I strive for in life. This channel itself has an outlet for fears that I had buried for so long I forgot they existed. And by doing this, I'm rediscovering the most important parts of my own existence. Once I got over the fear of putting myself out there, which is a ridiculous one considering how long I spent as a musician, songwriter, and performer who put myself out there every time I got on stage to sing one of my songs. But this last week of posting videos has been the most rewarding of my life, one of the most rewarding, and it's restoring a sense of purpose. But all these fears that I've internalized over the last couple of decades had become who I was. It replaced me with this version of myself that I came to realize I hated. It wasn't me. So do yourself a favor and start confronting your own fears. Rediscover yourself, strip away all the influences that have warped you as a person, and just get back to the basics, who you were before the world made its mark on your soul. And thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate it. If you made it this far in the video, please do me a favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe. It really does mean the world to me. Much love, and until next time, take care.